Hey, what's up guys? So quick movie review on Topgun Maverick. Excellent. I fully recommend watching this theaters. Not 1 ounce of this movie that I did not like. You know, this was so great. This is a perfect balance of nostalgia and humor and drama, heartfelt drama. You're invested in these characters, and action. All the action, you're on the edge of your seats. It is full on a freedom America when it comes to this movie, and I totally love everything about it. So again, I fully recommend this movie, watching in theaters. Again, this is how you make a sequel movie. This is how you do something and you get so much care into the characters and the movie. Everything about this movie was excellent, you know? So two last things. You know, I gotta big up, like, I was indifferent with my call sign, but call sign Don, loving it, loving all the call sign, totally loving it, and zero wokeness when it comes to this movie, so fully recommend watching it. Call signs is usually reserved for pilots, right? But out of camaraderie and esprit de corps, you know, they extended the traditions to enlisted, even as someone who just works in computers. So my call sign is Don. Obviously, I did not pick that. It has an acronym. I'll probably do super chats to let you know what that means if that ever comes to a day. Hey yo, what's up guys? So I'm coming to you another video, and I haven't done these in a while, so we're doing a movie review on Topgun Maverick. What up? I mean, Maverick, we gotta do it. You know, making videos really controversial. Maverick, Mitch, we gotta do it. We gotta talk about it. So with that said, shall we begin? But first, of course, if you're new to my channel, what is up? My name is Mitch, Maverick Mitch, hey Mitch, all the Mitches, the real Mitcher, call sign Don, and pretty much I like talking about what I talk about. So, current events, reviews, pop culture, social political commentary, be sure to check out all those videos as you're finishing this video. And please like, share, and subscribe as it feeds the algorithm, and let's get into it. Okay, so we're going to do this a little bit different. Obviously I already did a review for it, or a quick movie review, so I'm going to talk a little bit about this, but I'm going to do it more so as a reaction video to the Critical Drinkers, his review and all it, and provide some commentary. So obviously I thought it was amazing, it was great and everything. I think the driving point, especially when it comes to this channel, is that it was zero wokeness, right? And you know, that shouldn't be a thing, but it is, you know, and it's just refreshing. It doesn't have to be the most amazing movie, but because it doesn't have those things, it feels that much more greater, right? Again, perfect level of nostalgia, perfect level of drama, heartfelt drama. You know, you're invested in these characters, action, like real action, that you're on the edge of your seat, and it's practical, right? And you know, and there was humor, you know, so all of that is good. You know, this reminds me of, people mentioned it before, like a Cobra Kai type of thing, you know, like ages ago, like put now in the present, and so you don't have to watch the original movie to enjoy this movie. And again, like another good example of making an actual good sequel that actually takes care of its product was obviously Ghostbusters Afterlife, you know, when the father and son directed the movie. So that's also really good. So when it comes to like a lot of the movies right now, when it comes to Spider-Man, not Spider-Man, when it comes to Morbius, right, when it comes to Doctor Strange and the WandaVision, essentially, you know, they rely on brand name and they feel like they're not trying, whereas, you know, they took real care of Maverick, and obviously this movie was supposed to come out in 2020, I believe, and so many delays, and I'm glad that, you know, it has come and it hasn't disappointed, because it could very well could have been. So, you know, as far as summer blockbusters, this is a #1 that's hitting the ball off the court, and, you know, totally love it, off the field, off the court, whatever. And so we're gonna watch, again, like I said, Critical Drinker, his reviews, and then provide additional commentary, and just have fun. And so maybe talk about a little bit Wokeness, talk about my call sign Don, and we'll get into it. So roll it.
Fuck yes! Top Gun Maverick is everything I'd hoped it would be and much more. It's a fucking great movie that more than justified the insanely long delays, kept me engaged and entertained from start to finish, paid tribute to the past without wallowing in it, delivered action sequences that gleefully shit in the face of all the bland, sterile CGI garbage we've been fed for years, and proved once again that Tom Cruise may just be the last great movie star we'll ever know. Honestly, a few years ago, if you told me they'd be making a modern day sequel sequel to Top Gun, one of the most 80s of 80s movies, with an almost 60-year-old Maverick playing mentor to a new generation of fighter pilots, I would have laughed in your face and told you there was no fucking way it could work. And if you then told me that not only would it be an awesome sequel that retains the spirit of the original, but actually improves on it in some ways, then I'd ask what brand of paint stripper you've been drinking, because I fucking want some. And yet, there it is. After years of delays, speculation and hype, Top Gun Maverick is finally upon us. And having watched it last night, I can say confidently that it was absolutely fantastic. I'm so fucking happy this movie got made. I feel like I've been buzzing since I got out of the theatre. Anyway, you're not here to listen to me prattle on about my fucking emotional state. It's time to review this thing, so grab your aviators and tannin oil and let's get started.
Yeah, hell yeah. Hey, you know what? I got my aviators on, got my wine on. Might as well make this a drug movie review, right? Critical drinker, right? So might as well, right? And, you know, just real quick on that note, you know, it is, it was very 80s already in the opening, you know? And already it sets the tone, like what movie you're getting. It's not like over the top with visuals. Again, it looks very 80s in the like the name of the credits and everything and how it's introduced. And so already it gives that tone without necessarily being outdated. It just reminds you of where this movie came from. And so again, I like the improvements that they're saying, a lot of the visuals and a lot of practical. So again, totally love what it's going. So yeah.
Picks up more than 30 years after the events of the first Top Gun. Maverick is now a test pilot working for some secret government research project when he gets unexpectedly recalled to the Navy Fighter Weapons School, better known by its nickname, Top Gun.
God help us.
Anyway, the Navy's planning a strike mission to destroy a nuclear research facility in, not Russia, before it can go online and start producing weapons of mass destruction. And because it's so heavily defended, the only way in is through a narrow canyon, over a mountain, and then up the other side before the enemy can lock on and blow you out of the sky. It's a bit like the canyon run from A New Hope, only this time you don't have the Millennium Falcon to help you out at the last minute.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a virtual suicide mission that only the best pilots in the world can even attempt. And as one of the only active pilots left with actual air-to-air combat experience, it's up to Maverick to train and prepare them for the mission ahead. There's just one problem. One of the candidates happens to be the son of Goose, Maverick's former best friend before, you know. What's are the odds, eh? So the bulk of the movie is devoted to training up for the big mission and the rivalry and unresolved issues between Maverick and Rooster. The harder Maverick trains Rooster and the other candidates, pushing men and machines to breaking point, the more the tension rises amongst the group, and the more Maverick himself is forced to confront his guilt over what happened to his best friend and find a way to be the leader he needs them to be. And this being a Top Gun movie, naturally it all culminates in an epic airborne action sequence where the team launches their do-or-die mission into not Russia, encountering a bunch of dangers along the way, and have to finally become a team and work together to pull through.
Again, all of this makes a good movie. You know, you have this tension, you have the you have the mentor, and you have the young cadets, or I guess pilots, they're not cadets, and they're officers. And so, you know, you got all of this already lining up, and it's really great, you know, with all of these things that makes a good story, you know. I love the idea of with the cannon run, I was about to, the canyon run, like in A New Hope, and definitely has reminiscence. So again, with these ideas, it feels familiar, right? But the level of stakes was still higher, you know? They had to go, you had to do like the incline to the decline to the incline, you know? Like, and you have to avoid, you have to be below the level of elevation, if not have the anti-air missiles, you know? And so, you know, it's, again, a lot of this was still really great. Again, putting the level of danger as well as learning of what on behind the scenes, like, yeah, they still need to make a team, right? It's the whole Avengers thing, like a group of misfits or whatever, and we have to come together at the end. So yeah, totally love it.
But will they all make it back alive, or will history repeat itself? It's not exactly a complex story, because just like the original, it doesn't really need to be. Top Gun was never some labyrinthine tale with shocking twists and revelations. It was about putting a bunch of young hotheads together into a highly competitive environment and just watching what happens. It was all about the rivalries, the egos and personalities of its characters, and the sequel is really no different. Thank fuck. One of my big fears going into this movie is that it would fall victim to the fucking mind virus that is postmodernism, deciding to mock and belittle the macho, gung-ho mindset of the first film in a desperate attempt to elevate its own story. But nope, it absolutely never does.
Yes.
Top Gun Maverick is a...
Yes. It doesn't. You know, like, they could have this, you know... If there was any argument for wokeness, it's probably like the level of diversity when it comes to like the new pilots. But even then, not even the girl, not even all the quote-unquote minority characters. And I think it's a more commentary you didn't really get to hear from the Asians. I guess they do too well. You got to do affirmative action and put them down. But jokes aside. But I mean, you could have very well said like, I'm the woman, I'm the best, I'm Phoenix, I rise from the thing. You know, it could have been over the top. Or like you could have had it with like, I forgot the other ones, Payback, Fanboy, Payback. You know, he could have been like, you know, I had all of these things growing up, I have all of this disadvantages, but you had all the privileges as a white guy, you know, it could have went there. It could very have went there, but it didn't for a second, right? Again, it could have been the most little bit, the wokeness about it is having a diverse quote unquote pilots and all this stuff. But again, that in itself is not wokeness, especially when you don't drive it over the top, right? If you just show like, hey, these people are capable and you tell me, okay, cool, I'll believe it. It just goes to show like I don't know if they were paying attention what is happening in Hollywood, but whatever the reason, and they just wanted to make a good movie, good on them.
Different beast. In the hands of a different filmmaker, Maverick probably would have been portrayed as some sad, decrepit old man desperately trying to relive his glory days before being put firmly in his place by some obnoxious box-ticking fantasy figure and finally coming to the conclusion that he was never really that good in the first place. Well, fuck that! Those kinds of tactics are for fucking losers or people who like their steaks well done. Whether it's down to Tom Cruise's ego or writers who actually understand what their audience wants, the end result is the same. This Maverick is very much still the man we remember. Yeah, he's older now and he's got a bit more baggage to carry, but he's still cocky and competitive, passionate about what he does, and willing to push himself and those around him to the very limits of their abilities. This isn't a guy who's going to meekly step aside and make way for the next generation. He's a man doing what he loves to the best of his ability, and Cruise doesn't miss a beat in his performance. I don't know what kind of deal he made with the devil, but being able to convincingly play the same character 35 years apart is a skill that not many actors have. Speaking of good actors, Miles Teller is perfect as Rooster, a talent.
I think that's also an excellent point. You know, when it comes to a lot of sequels or whatever, if you want to go maybe in the Matrix, obviously that definitely undermined the Neo character, but revisiting a character, you may have introduced different qualities into the character 20 years later or whatever, how many years later, and it's refreshing that Maverick has stayed Maverick, you know? Maybe a little bit wiser, maybe a little bit more cautionary, I guess, especially being somewhat of a father figure to Rooster. You know, he has these insecurities, and they address that. You know, that, you know, you have to let go, and that was a very touching moment, you know, and again, it's so much care into the characters and into this movie. This movie, like I said, is probably one of my top 3 movies of 2022. Right below, I would put Top Gun, and then the Batman, and then I'm leaving my third slot open. I still haven't seen Everything Everywhere All at Once, and I know that I've been hearing great things about it, so maybe that'll change my level and should probably be on my number 2, knocking out the Batman, but we'll see. But again, for where it is right now, totally love this movie. I need to watch it again.
A young pilot with a chip on his shoulder and a lot to prove. You know, the more I see of this guy, the more I find myself really liking him as an actor. I mean, yeah, he starred in a few clunkers back in the day, but he's also proven himself to be a strong and committed character actor, and if this movie does as well as it deserves to, it could well be the springboard that he needs to get much bigger roles.
Again, I also agree with Miles Teller. I remember him in Divergent. I remember him as Reed Richards in Young Fantastic Four. I guess he's a variant or multiverse now. So, but those are good aspects. But obviously, he nailed this role and I loved it. Totally agree.
Jennifer Connolly seems to be going through a bit of a career renaissance these days, and frankly, I'm all in favour of it. It was actually kind of a shock to have a female lead in a modern big-budget movie who isn't an insufferable arsehole, but there it is. She plays Penny with warmth and humanity, and holy shit, talk about an upgrade. I mean, no offence to Kelly McGillis or anything, but damn, I know which one I'd pick. Truly, Jen, the years have been kind to you. Unfortunately, they haven't been quite so kind to Val Kilmer. I mean, credit to the filmmakers for giving the guy some much-deserved screen time and for working around his disability with tact and sensitivity, but damn, it's such a shame he's not capable of doing more. Iceman was one of the coolest antagonists in movie history, and it would have been great to see him in a more expanded role here. But hey, it is what it is, I guess, and his scene with Maverick is well played by both actors. Oh, and I've got to talk about the cinematography here. The original Top Gun was made in an era before CGI made it possible to do basically anything with zero risk or difficulty, and I half expected this film to follow suit, but nope, it's done pretty much entirely with practical effects. Apparently they did most of the flight scenes by putting the actors into real aircraft, and goddamn it shows. There's a weight and realism behind the air combat scenes that no amount of sterile green screen could ever hope to replicate. I mean, yeah, clearly they had a bit of help for some of the more intense stunts that just wouldn't be possible to do in reality, but for the most part, it looks and feels like this stuff was actually happening. You see the difference it makes when you know that the actors and film crew actually did this stuff? You see how much more immersive and exhilarating it is? You see how fucking boring and unengaging it is when you know the actors were just standing on an empty soundstage surrounded by green screens? God, I've missed movies like this. Now, if I had to be super picky, I'd acknowledge that some of the dialogue can be a bit clunky and simplistic.
Also, can I also make note, like Ryan Kinnell, Geeks and Gamers, had mentioned, like he's in the Navy, so I don't know too much on this side, on the military side, right? But I'll probably talk about my call sign at the end of the review, whatever. But he was saying how much what you see is what you really do, or what they really do. And so again, it gives a more grounded feel, a more realistic feel, a more like authentic feel, right? And totally great on them, right? And so yeah,
times falling into the trap of telling rather than showing. I guess it was done for the sake of speed and efficiency, but it probably would have benefited from a bit more polish. Also, the relationship between Maverick and Penny felt a little superfluous at times. I mean, don't get me wrong, Cruise and Connolly are both great actors that have good chemistry together, but overall it probably could have been better integrated into the main story and maybe given a bit more complexity to flesh it out. But honestly, that's pretty much it as far as complaints go. Yeah, I could probably pick holes in the plausibility of the finale, or the idea that the US Navy would send their best pilots and their multi-million-dollar planes on what basically amounts to a suicide mission, but fuck it, this movie's more than earned a little goodwill from me. Top Gun Maverick is a
Also, we'll just also make it there, you let go of certain things because it feels like this is done in good faith, right? And so as such, like he was saying, like, would the military do a suicide mission on this? Would they actually do kind of like all of this all together, and would this scenario actually even work, But it doesn't matter. You're in because you actually enjoy it, and again, the people, the creators, the producers, the directors, the actors, the cast, all crew, and was making a good damn movie, so you're all in.
Glorious throwback to the big, bombastic, crowd-pleasing action movies of a bygone era. It's unashamedly nostalgic, reflective, patriotic, gung-ho, and fucking awesome. And
yes.
It's a reminder that movies in the hands of the right people can still be thrilling, exhilarating, and leave you feeling better than when you went in. In an age of tired superhero movies, failing franchises, and of course, the message. It's exactly what audiences have been crying out for years. The age of films like this and its star might be coming to an end now, but as Maverick himself would say,
maybe so, sir.
But not today.
But not today.
Now, just before I wrap this one up, I'd like to say that today's video has been sponsored by me.
Alright, so I'll leave the rest of the video. You can check it out. Obviously, he Critical Drinkers plugging his material. Everything here was 100% on point. Love everything that he mentioned. Obviously, I want to drive the point that it was taken care of really well. Last thing I'm gonna say, got a call sign. You know, being in the Air Force, you know, not everyone will get a call sign, right? Because especially those in like non-operation, non-pilots, everything, unless you work again like an op squadron, you know. But I work in computers and I work in op squadron, and so call signs is usually reserved for pilots, right? But out of camaraderie and esprit de corps, you know, they extended the traditions to enlisted, even as someone who just works in computers. So my call sign is Dawn. Obviously, I did not pick that. It has an acronym. I'll probably do super chats to let you know what that means if that ever comes to a day. But you know, it's very indifferent, and there was worse call signs, and so I'm living and I'm living to kind of like somewhat grow into it. Like there's obviously I can work. The best thing that I wanted to do when it came to Dawn is how can I market it? Like, and Dawn, like when it came to any of my call signs, right? And so at least I can do Red Dawn, I can do like Second Dawn, I can do like Dawn Soap, you know, like at least it's versatile for me to do it. So again, I wasn't different about that, different about my call sign, but like having a call sign makes this movie so much better, because you kind of feel like a part of the history, you know? Again, yeah, they're Navy, I'm Air Force, but still, you can't help but feel the hype into this. So yeah, I'll just leave it there. Probably talk about a lot that more in maybe another video, but I just want to leave it there. Thank you again for watching. You can follow me on my Instagram at HeyMitchMitch. I'm also Rumble, Mitch Lozada. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Peace, peace, peace. Be with you.